guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to come back and explain what has been going on, why it's been almost a year since the last video I put up, and just continue from where I left off. In my last video, I talk about my saline ultrasound and my DNC experience, and I do say what I was going to do back in that time. It was in October of 2018. I was waiting for my surgery, my hysteroscopy. They're gonna do my hysteroscopy to go back and check if I didn't have anything in my uterus, like polyps or anything, just to make sure everything was fine before I did my third transfer. A lot has happened, and I will explain, but first, like I said, I want to go back and explain where I left off and continue, hopefully so I can continue doing these vlogs and just, I don't know, telling my story, our journey, but yeah, anyway, so I want to talk about my husband's semen analysis and my egg retrieval. So when we did my second saline ultrasound, everything came back normal. So I was ready to get on birth control and start my medication so I can do the follicle growth, have my follicles grow. And my husband was waiting for his test results to come back. So those came back abnormal. He does have low mobility and low normal appearing sperm. So the doctor recommended us doing ICSI, where they take the egg and they fertilize it with his sperm and then let it cultivate and grow and see if we can freeze whatever survives, the embryos that survive. So once we had that in our minds and we knew that it was both infertility from his part and infertility from my part, we had nothing to think about but to continue and go ahead and do IVF. So like I said, I started taking birth control, getting ready for my body to have a period and go do the best baseline that they have to check before we start doing gonal F and Menopur. So I started in March of 2018, and then I started with a low dose or the normal dose, 100 gonal F and Menopur, and I did that for a couple of days. It did take a while for my body to actually respond to the medication. What ended up happening that I was like, it probably took a week longer than normal for my body to respond to the medication. They did have to up my dose to 225 for my follicles to grow a bit faster. Once I was ready, they didn't allow me to have anything to drink or eat the night before the surgery. We went into the surgery, to the clinic, and I remember that I was really nervous. My husband did get a video of me, and hopefully I can insert it in here so you guys can see, but I look... ¿Me sigues grabando? Esto duele mucho.
Eso, Cristo, dime.
Esto duele mucho. ¿Y tú por qué no te grabas a ti?
Pa, ¿yo pa' qué o qué?
¿Te mires?
A ver, Chris, ¿cómo te fue?
14.
¿Mm?
14.
¿No eran 15?
And I was like, oh my god, I didn't know what to expect. But yeah, so we did that. I went into surgery. I remember getting out of surgery and I was already a little sore. But other than that, I was fine. While I was in surgery, my husband Mario had to go do his part to have the sample ready for when they collected the eggs and have them inserted into the eggs and, to see if they fertilized. So they sent me home. Recovery was a little rough. I didn't think it was going to be that painful, but it was. I remember that day I came back, I was really sore. My stomach felt like it was really hard and bloated, and if I moved just a little bit, it was really painful. My mom, like always, so sweet. She did some chicken soup, and my husband was really nice. He was taking care of me, and it was okay. But I do remember it being very painful. So at the egg retrieval, they did collect 14 eggs. Out of those 14 eggs, 13 fertilized. And then they had them. They were watching them as they continued to develop. 2 days after my surgery, they gave me an update that, let me just make sure I have the correct information. Okay. So on 2 days after my surgery, after the egg retrieval, there were still 11 embryos that they were developing. So they took out 14, 13 fertilized. 2 days later, there were still 11 eggs or embryos that were fertilizing and growing, which was really good. And they told me that they were going to keep me in touch, informed of how many they would end up freezing. So 2 days after that, they sent me another report. It was on day 6 of them being having them grow or being in culture. They ended up freezing 7 embryos. All of my embryos were pretty good. So they're graded by number and letters, and the number is supposed to be how developed they are or how advanced they are. So I had 3s, I had 4s, and then they gave them a letter. They gave them 2 letters that just pretty much grade the embryos of being nice, good, and fair. So A is nice, B is good, C is good, fair quality. Those letters were AAs, A and B, BB, BB, BC. So none of them were just CC. There was B's and A's and C's. So overall, that's pretty good. Out of 14 eggs that they retrieved, 13 fertilized. 2 days later, 11 were still developing, and on day 6, they froze 7 embryos. So we were really excited. We were really cautious. I was really scared, and I guess I was having second thoughts on doing IVF. One, because it might be controversial, I don't know, but this is what I was thinking. This is how I was feeling. And so basically, before I did IVF, I was really scared. I know I wanted to have children. I knew it was almost 7 years trying naturally and not being able to have a baby, not even with Clomid or Femera or anything. So I knew that I needed to go to the next step. I am Catholic, and I know some Catholics believe that IVF is not an option. And I don't know, I don't want to get too much into it, but I felt really scared and offending God. So I did talk to some members of our Catholic community, and they told me that if I felt like this was right and if I felt like I was doing it out of love, then to continue and continue with IVF. At the beginning, I told the doctor that I did not want more than 10 follicles or 10 eggs retrieved or fertilized, due to the fact that I didn't want to have all these embryos that, to me, they're babies already because it's alive already, and I didn't want to just have them there. Like, what if they all survive? What if all of them, or the first couple of them work, and I just don't know. I was really confused. I didn't want to just have them frozen. It was really like overwhelming for us. So at the end, I just left everything to God. I told him, I'm doing this out of love. I'm doing this because we're ready to have a family, and anything that happens within this process is going to be because you allow it. I'm not trying to be better than God. I'm not trying to have people come and judge me, but this is the way I felt, and this is why we did IVF. So I was pretty much happy with my 7 embryos. I still thought it was a lot, because in my mind I was like, oh, they're all gonna work. Oh, I'm gonna have 7 children, and it doesn't work like that. Everything happens for a reason. God knows what's best for us, and I'm grateful that I did have 7 embryos, and that I still have embryos waiting for us to be ready and hopefully one day become a baby, or how many ever many babies we can have. I'll take them all. And I'm probably ranting, and I'm sorry, and it's probably like hard to understand, but only people who have been through the process will understand how much of a roller coaster emotionally this is. Like I said, I was really happy with my 7 embryos. I was like, I'm gonna have 7 babies. I'm so excited, and I was just happy. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. After we froze our embryos, we didn't do a fresh transfer because our doctor said it was better for me to feel better and have all those medications out of my system before I did a transfer. So that's what happened. This is my embryo. How many embryos we had at the beginning? 7 embryos. Our infertility is both from my husband and myself, and we're working through it, and hopefully with God's grace, we'll be pregnant soon again. And everybody that's out there, don't give up. It's not an option. Don't give up. You'll find a way. Either if it's not your own child, it might be through adoption, through embryo adoption. And maybe that should be a different video, what I think about those topics, about embryo adoption, or trying another IVF. But right now we still have embryos, thank God. But in my next video, I'll talk about my transfers, how each one went, and the results of those. But thank you guys for being here. Please continue to watch my videos. Please give me advice on what I need to do or say to make these videos more interesting, or for you guys to be able to understand me better. But yeah, thank you for being here, and I wish all of you guys out there that are hoping for for a baby the best, and hopefully together we'll be infertility. But thank you. Stay tuned for my next video. Bye.